Okay, I guess we can go ahead and start it. So welcome everyone to our Studying at UW-Madison panel for our April's CALS Submitted Students Week. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our panelists and facilitators. So, okay, my name is Helen and I'm a senior student majoring in genetics and Italian. I'm also the CALS Ambassador Admitted Students Chair. And then I'll let Tatum and Plia introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Tatum, and like Helen, I'm also a senior studying genetics and genomics, and I'm a CALS ambassador. I'm the CALS ambassador event co-chair.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. My name is Plia Zhang. I'm the Prospective Student Services Coordinator. So I advise prospective high school and transfer students interested in pursuing their bachelor's degree in CALS, and I also supervise the CALS ambassadors. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Tatum and Plia. Now I'll introduce our panelists. So Paul, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Paul. There's a nice little slide that kind of introduces me. So I'm a sophomore, also studying genetics and genomics. I just declared a second major in German. And today I was going to kind of talk about my experience as a GUTS tutor because I tutored German. And so, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And now we can introduce Laura.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura. I graduated from the university back in 2018 with my bachelor's in kinesiology, exercise movement science, as the slide says. When I was an undergrad, I worked with the BioCommons, and now I'm a JD candidate at the law school, and I'm working with the BioCommons again, so I'll be talking more about that later.
Awesome, thank you guys. And then thank you for being our panelists. And now we'll move on to the overview of our presentation today. So first of all, we're going to talk about how to use Guide and DARS for picking classes. And then we're going to share with you about the resources that can help you study on campus, including GUTS, which will be introduced by Paul, and then PLA introduced by Tatum, and also other tutoring services introduced by me, and also we'll highlight BioCommons and it'll be introduced by Laura. And then the third part would be we'll be introducing some fun places for you to study on campus and also off campus, and also share with you some fun elective or non-major courses that CALS students or our CALS ambassadors have chosen. Yeah, and the last part is our Q&A session. Just ask us anything about any part we've talked about. Okay, and then let's go ahead to our first part about Guide and DARS, and I'll let Plia to do it.
All right, thank you, Helen. So for this part, you may be wondering, how do I sign up for classes? So we just wanted to do a really quick overview of what that process looks like. You don't need to memorize the process right now. If you commit to UW-Madison, you will be signed up for SOAR, which is Student Orientation, Advising, and Registration. And this process will be reviewed again so that you know how to look and explore for the different majors you're interested in, and also how to register for those classes for your fall semester. So here you'll see a screenshot of the guide, and the guide, you can access this by typing in your web browser guide.wis.edu. Think of it as an undergraduate catalog. So this is where you can go in to explore all the different majors and certificates we offer at the university. You can also explore different courses that are offered, as well as what classes you'll take for certain majors and certificates, and also contact information for who the advisors are, as well as who are the faculty. The guide is very helpful, and we encourage all of our students to use it. It not only provides you an overview, as you can see on the right side of your screen. It provides an overview, it provides information of how to get into the major, and the requirements for the major, as well as a learning outcomes, a 4-year plan, advising and careers, and people that you can contact. So how to get in? So for all of our majors, you just need to meet with a major advisor to declare your major. And if you come to SOAR over the summer, we will declare your major for you at SOAR. And the 4-year plan is very useful. So if you are a visual learner, or you just want to see like when is the best time to take my biology, my organic chemistry, anything like that, you can look at the sample 4-year plan to give you a sample guide. Do take it with a grain of salt, because if you come in with various AP, IB, or transfer credits, it will look a little different for you, but nonetheless still a really great sample that you can look at. Next slide, please. Now, this is our course search and enroll app. So this is where you will go in to look up courses and add them to your cart, and also register for them. So you won't have access to this app until you are an official UW-Madison student. But this is, we just want to give you a preview of what this looks like. So on the left side of the screen, this is what it will pop up when you first log in. So you'll see that you can filter it by term, you can filter it by what's open and what's closed. And also, like, if you're looking for a certain class to fulfill a requirement, for example, a Com A or a Com B. So these are your composition, writing composition comprehension courses. Or if you're looking for an ethnic studies course, or a social science course, anything like that. So you can use the left side to kind of filter out, and then they'll give you the list of classes. So from that, you'll click on the list of classes, and then once you click on a class, it'll give you more information about what the class is about, how many credits, what it fulfills, etc. And then on the right side of your screen, this is an example of the scheduler. So this is after you have added the courses that you're interested in. So kind of think of this as like online shopping. So you're shopping for classes that you can add into your schedule or your cart. So on the right side, this student has already added in classes that they're interested into their cart. And so then you'll click the classes that you want to enroll in. And then when you click the blue button that says find schedules, it will generate schedules for you based on the classes that you selected. And usually gives you about 50 schedules to choose from, depending on when it's offered and stuff like that. You may have a little less than 50, but the max 50 schedules will generate for you. So that's kind of like how you build your schedule. And then once you find a schedule that you like, you'll just click the save schedule button, and then it'll be officially added into your cart. And then the next thing you need to do is just to revalidate all your courses, make sure you meet all the requirements before taking it, and then you can enroll in your class. Next slide. So this is an example of what your kind of like your My UW, this is like your student dashboard, will look like when you log in as a UW-Madison student. So on the top left corner, you'll see on that left screenshot, you'll see something that says DARS. So DARS stands for Degree Audit Reporting System. And so this is where you can go in and to see what requirements you have already fulfilled, which ones you haven't fulfilled yet. And you can also generate a DARS for any major or any certificate program that you're interested in. So let's say you are interested in genetics and you're also interested in nutritional sciences, you can go and run a DARS for each of those majors and see what requirements you have already fulfilled and which ones you still need to fulfill. So on the right side of the screen, this is the interactive version of the DARS. So you'll see that this student fulfilled a good chunk of their requirements already. So if it's fulfilled, completed, you took the class, you complete the requirement, you will see that there's a green check mark, as well as that whole block will be green. And then if you haven't fulfilled that requirement yet, then instead of seeing the green check mark, you will see a red X. And then that whole block of text will be red to let you know, hey, you still need to finish this part of the requirements for your major or certificate. Yeah, so that is a little bit about DARS. And so again, you will work with your assigned academic advisor to explore what classes to take, and also to make sure that you are on track for graduation and taking all the courses that you need. Yeah, so that is about Guide and DARS.
Yeah, thank you, Plia, for the amazing introduction on DARS and Guide. And just like what Plia said, even if you're probably will feel a little bit overwhelmed when you just become a freshman and picking classes and then checking out which class you're eligible for your major, our amazing CALS advisors will be there to help you, and your major advisors will also be there to help you. So yeah, and then don't hesitate to reach out to the advisors for help. Okay, and the next part is we're going to introduce different resources that'll help you study. And the first part would be GUTS, and I'll pass it on to Paul.
Hey everybody, so like I said, I was going to talk a little bit about the Greater University Tutoring Services. So it's a great way to kind of facilitate your learning, especially if you're struggling in a certain class. I was never a tutie, but I tutored German to a student from my hometown and then also another graduate student from Russia, which was kind of interesting. They were both at like totally different levels, but we ended up just playing like charades and Pictionary. It was kind of fun games to pass the time, but also learn some German. And if you aren't learning a foreign language, you don't have to be minoring or majoring in one to actually participate in the tutoring service. And also, if you're not interested in learning a language, they also have it for chemistry, calculus, and so further. So yeah, it's really just a great way to kind of talk about what you're learning with other people, because that also, just really helps kind of yourself to understand and better kind of recall information when you're taking an exam. And I have a friend who tutors in organic chemistry, and although I didn't actually go through this program to be tutored by him, I just kind of met up with him, and he helped me do a lot better on my schoolwork. So it's a great resource. There's the website right there, so you can find it at guts.wisc.edu. If you have any questions or you actually want to find and sign up for it. You could also be a tutor if you apply for it. And they just have like a short interview, and then they kind of give you a packet and you're on your way.
Awesome, thank you, Paul. Okay, we'll move on to PLA, and then I'll pass it on to Tatum.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to talk about the Peer Learning Association, or PLA, which is a student-run organization on campus. And what they do is they put together free but guided study groups for different courses. So it's typically about 10 students or so that are learning the same subject or taking the same course. And every week they meet, and they're led by a student who previously took the same class and did really well. And they just go over the course content. So far, PLA is available for people taking introductory bio courses, organic chemistry, introductory psychology, and introductory physics courses. And as I said, it's a free program. All that you need to do to be able to be a part of it is commit 2 hours a week to going to the meetings. And I actually was a part of PLA for organic chemistry and for physics. And I think it was like a really great program. Kind of makes you accountable for keeping up with the coursework every week. And you get to meet at least like 10 other people that are in your class. So if you have questions, you can ask them. If you go to this link, you can look on their website, although you don't necessarily need to go on the website to sign up. Typically what will happen is you'll get an email the first week or so of class from your professor or a TA saying that, or sending a link to sign up for the PLA. But overall, it's a really great resource for a lot of these classes, which most CALS majors will end up taking at least one of them during their 4 years.
Okay, thank you, Tatum. And now we'll move on to Introduction for Writing Center. So the Writing Center is a really popular resource on campus to help students with all kinds of writing assignments. Either it's like a thesis or it's like a small writing project for a class. You can all get help from the Writing Center. So they are appointment-based. you can do virtual meetings with the writing facilitator. You can schedule it on the Writing Center website to meet with them one time, and then you just prepare any writing documents that you want them to give you advice on, or just give you some feedbacks. There's another way to do it is that you don't have to do a virtual meeting, but you can just schedule an appointment to have one of the writing facilitators to help you give you writing feedbacks. You'll just submit your writing assignments or any documents at that time, and they'll give you feedback on those or any suggestion they have. There's also drop-in hours. So on their website, there will be specifically a link to all the slots for drop-in hours. So normally during non-COVID time, they were hosted at different locations on campus, including residence halls, dining halls, and multicultural learning centers. But now during the pandemic, it all moved to online. So you'll just go to the online website and then choose any slot that works for your schedule. And then you just, there will be either student or a professional writing advisor to be there to help you with any writing assignments you have. And it's pretty popular. A lot of students schedule their drop-in hours like way long before their intent date to do it. So yeah, just a reminder that if you want to do a drop-in hour without any appointment for the virtual meeting or the writing feedback, you probably have to do it like as soon as possible because it's pretty popular. And then, yeah, as for the drop-in hours I just mentioned, now it's virtual, but before it was in residence halls, library, multicultural student centers. And they also have writing mentorship. It's a new program that pairs a student or a group of students with a writing facilitator, and they will meet up regularly during the semester to help to get like constant help on their different writing assignments. So if this is like a mentorship program or like a tutoring program you're interested in, you can also find information on the Writing Center website. And there's also Writing Center workshops. So the Writing Center pair with different organizations or different colleges, different departments to give students different Writing Center workshops. So they will just be just like a group of people led by a writing facilitator, and then talk about maybe like how to write a resume, how to work on your cover letter, how to like draft, improve on your language, on your writings, things like that. And lastly, there will also be a program for writing fellows. So if you're confident and you like writing, you can definitely try to apply to the writing fellows. So they're just a group of students that are interested in writing and also interested in helping students with writing. So you can definitely join them if you feel confident with sharing your writing skills and helping students with their writing assignments. Okay, and then now here's the link or the website link to the Writing Center. So all these resources should be on the website, and you should just either get the appointment or apply to the writing fellowship right away. Okay, and now we're gonna introduce some other academic learning supports beside the ones we just talked about. So the first one we have is Math Lab. So it is a drop-in, it's a free drop-in tutorial services hosted by the Department of Mathematics. So they're mainly hosted by math TAs. They'll either host it in residence halls or dining halls or in the math department. But now during COVID time, they're all moved online. So if you want to schedule for any tutoring service, you'll have to go to the math department website and then check out if there's a slot, if there's a session you can do. And then it goes with whatever math course you have. Sometimes if you're in higher level of math course, you might not have tutorial service for that. So be sure to check whether your math course is available or eligible for these drop-in tutoring service. And they also offer tutorial program. So it's basically a long-term tutoring service for you to be paired with a math tutor or math TA, and then they will help you constantly on your math problems in different courses. Before it has to be applied in person, but now everything goes online, and actually the program, the application for the program doesn't exist anymore. So there will just be different tutoring sessions, and then you'll just choose the one and also the one for your course to just join in. And then each tutorial session would be 50 minutes, and you'll be working with a group of students and led by a math TA. Okay, and here's the link to the math lab, and then you can just like search math lab on the UW-Madison website. Okay, there's also the Chemistry Learning Center for chemistry students or just students who are taking chemistry. So they mostly focus on general chemistry and organic chemistries. So they are basically, it's kind of like the tutorial program in Math Lab. It will be a small group of students, and they'll led by an professional instructor, either a professor, faculty, or even a TA that will be really expert in the area you're studying. And then it'll also be application based. So right now is online. You'll just go to the website of the CLC and then finish an application form. And after that, a CLC faculty will reach out to you through email and then probably set up a short interview to determine if you're eligible for the program. When I say eligible, it's probably just determine if your course is eligible for these tutoring services, or if your academic status will be, just make you eligible for that. So if you're students who are sometimes just not really persistent on learning, they probably won't recruit them to the program. Before, when it's non-COVID time, it is actually in-person applications. So you'll go to room 4330 in medical science centers, and then to do an in-person application. So basically just fill out another form, and then there will be faculty checking on your eligibility and do an interview with you. Yeah. And this is the website for application, and also all the information is about Chemistry Learning Center. Okay. Similar to Chemistry Learning Center is the Physics Learning Center, PLC. So it targets specifically introductory physics. So Physics 103, 104, this is one series, and then Physics 207 and 208, this is another series, but they're all introductory physics. And similar to Math Lab and also CLC, it is also a small group based, and then students will be led by either peer tutors or staff. And students normally meet twice per week, and then they'll work on the physics problem they have in class, or just review on the course content. They'll also have extra review sessions for their exam, which is pretty nice. So if you're looking for this kind of support, extra support outside of class, you can definitely consider the PLC. And then it is also application based. So right now it's online application. So you'll just go to the PLC website and then fill out the form to apply. And there'll also be a short interview to determine whether you're eligible for the program. Okay, and then lastly, there is the University Housing Academic Tutoring. So as I mentioned earlier about how writing centers and then PLC, Math Lab, CLC, how they can be hosted in residence halls during non-pandemic period. Yeah, so it is basically housed by the University Housing Academic Tutoring. So in different residence halls or like even dining halls, such as let me think, Four Lakes, the Four Lakes dining hall connected to Dijon, or like Rita's dining hall connected to Chatborn. There will be math tutors, chemistry tutors, and also writing center writing facilitators. They will be there during non-COVID time to help students with whatever problem they have, and they will be drop-in hour based. Right now, it won't be in person, so everything will be online. It is actually gonna be on the residence hall's Canvas page. So you'll just search University Housing Academic Tutoring, and it'll pop up with the Canvas page specifically for your residence hall. And then I think in non-COVID time is Sunday to Thursday from 7 to 9:30 p.m. But right now the time may vary, depends on what the Canvas page says. And then the link is this one. Okay, and then as for other academic learning supports, I accidentally found these amazing lists of different academic learning supports on the CLC website. So thank you, CLC, for that. So there's a bunch of different academic learning supports, such as for psychology, computer science, engineering, and there's even one for there's even a learning center for nursing students, which is really amazing. So if you're interested in other academic supports beside the ones we talk about, you can also go onto this website to check them out. Okay, and now I'll move on to BioCommons, and it will be introduced by Laura.
Hi, yeah. I just like to also say when I was an undergrad, I took advantage of a lot of these resources. And I'd also like to emphasize that, these aren't remedial resources. They really are things that everyone should and does take advantage of, no matter what level you think you're at in that particular course. But yeah, the BioCommons, first off, we are located in a library on campus, Steenbach Memorial Library. I know we're talking about places to study later, but I personally love studying in the BioCommons. We have a living plant wall, we have a fish tank, we have really big windows that let a lot of light in. So I would check it out if you're ever on campus. So what we are a physical and more recently a virtual community and resource space. The university has over 30 just biological science majors across different campus colleges. So not only CALS, but there's Letters and Sciences, College of Engineering, the nursing school, and so on. So we're a great central resource to connect you all across campus. And unlike our name might suggest, we are not just for biological science students. We're primarily aimed at undergraduates who are interested or majoring in STEM fields, but it also includes people just taking a STEM requirement for any major. So we collaborate with like a lot of the resources that have already been mentioned. And so we host them in our space. We work with student organizations to host events and also directly with colleges to host events. Another huge resource we have are BioCommons ambassadors. Those are actually peers, usually undergraduates. I'm a professional student, so also some graduate professional students. They're very knowledgeable. They can help you find mentors, find research opportunities, resources. So that's a great resource. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Laura, for this great introduction about BioCommons. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the fun study locations on campus. Okay, and then the most popular choice I have seen from our survey of like CAL students and CAL ambassadors is our college library. So students say there are, the most of the time it's pretty quiet, and then there are big round tables for you to study, and also you can get a really great view of the lake on the second or even upper level of the library. And then also one thing I want to mention is that in the college library, there are two sections. One is for just like casual library setting, but the other one is the quiet study room. So students entering there, you can't talk or eat food or anything that will make noise, because it's just like a quiet environment for students who want this kind of quiet space to focus on their study. So I think this is pretty great if you want to choose, if you can't, like, if you prefer a quiet space, but sometimes you also want to go for like a, just casual studying space. So yeah, college library is one of the most popular choices for students to study on campus. And there's also Memorial Union. So during summertime, it'll be like a lot of just colorful chairs around the terrace, and there will be like food and amazing music going on. But actually, it is also a great place for studying. So a lot of our CALS ambassadors choose the second floor of Memorial Union because it's really quiet. It has like these like small tables for you to either work individually or working with a bunch of friends, and also it has a really great view of the lake. So this is another popular selection for study on campus. And also we have Discovery Building. So this is a relative new building for specifically for research. So it's really fancy. If you have visited on campus before, you'll see there's like a big glass building that looks really fancy and nice. It is like a research facility, and then a lot of students also choose to come in here to study because of the spacious environment there. And also there's a great coffee shop that offers food and also drinks. One thing I want to mention is that even though first floor, normally during weekdays, they're open for all people. I think right now for pandemic and sometimes after like the normal working hours, you'll have only students and faculty that are eligible to go in. Like if either they work in any lab in the building, or if they work in the coffee shop, they will be able to get in. But other students, it's probably not possible to get in. So yeah, this is just like kind of like a privilege for the Discovery Building people, and I really want to be there because it's just really fancy and nice. And another really great and new science building on campus is microbial sciences building. Is on our CALS campus, and then it's yeah, it's a relative new science building, and you can see it's also pretty fancy with all the glasses and the cool design on every floor. And a lot of students actually prefer to study here as well, because on the I believe it's the second floor and above there will be like these special or like just designed places for students to either hang out or just grab a table and start to study. And on the second floor, there's also a small coffee shop belonging to the university dining services. And then you can buy food if you're having classes there, or you can just grab a coffee and sit in these like studying lounges to like focus on your study. And also there's Union South. It's like similar to Memorial Union. It's also like pretty nice space for you to hang out. There will be a lot of people. So the first floor sometimes is pretty busy and then kind of noisy, but still there are a lot of students choose to study there because you can see there are a lot of tables and chairs, and also there will be like outlets around, so it would be pretty easy for you to study. And there's also, I believe, some quiet spaces on the upper level of Union South, so you can also choose somewhere quiet to study. And as for off-campus studying places, the most popular choices would be like coffee shops. So some of our CALS ambassadors choose the Fair Trade Coffee House on State Street. They say it's not really a busy coffee house, but they also have great food and great drinks. So some of our CALS ambassadors would prefer to go there to study if they don't want to go to on-campus studying locations. And similarly, we have like Starbucks. We have one on State Street, and also there's one that newly opened around the residence hall called Smith. So this is a really fancy and nice new Starbucks, and students around there will also be able to, because Smith is a little bit far from our main campus, so students there can still like go into this nice coffee shop to study and also get food and drink while they're studying. And similarly, there's also a coffee shop that is pretty popular. It is around the East Campus Mall. It's called Valentia. Yeah, I've heard many of my friends saying they have great food. One of them is, I think, is avocado toast. Is pretty popular, and their coffee is super good. And they also have these amazing tables and chairs, and a lot of students just stay there to study. And even during like good weather, they'll also put out tables outside for students to study there as well. Okay, and then some of our CALS ambassadors also pick Madison Public Library. I think is around the Capitol area. It's pretty. It's a little bit far from campus, but the good thing is it is really spacious. It has doesn't have that many people visiting, so it's a really quiet and nice space for you to study. Yeah. And last thing I want to point out is that even if you don't want to study in these like, designated locations or like buildings, you can always just grab like a piece of place on our Bascom Hill, or like on the in the lawn, the grass area next to Memorial Union, to just study in the nice weather under the sun. So that's what a lot of students choose to do if they don't want to go into a certain building to study. Okay, now I'm gonna pass it on to Tatum, who will talk about the fun elective and non-major courses our Cal students would normally pick.
Thank you. If you go to the next slide, I've got some listed there. Most of the classes that you're going to take each semester are related to your major or meeting some kind of requirement, but you also get a lot of choice in the classes that you get to take, and you've got a lot of room to take electives, which personally I think is one of like the best parts of college, to explore things outside your major. And we asked CALS ambassadors what their favorite classes that they took, and we listed some of the responses. And so most of our CALS ambassadors are taking majors in like the life sciences or ag sciences. But as you can see, there was like a lot of classes in the humanities that people like. So cultural anthropology, there's a lot of different sociology classes, classics. And so a lot of these classes may not be related to your major at all, but you can take them just to find out that you like them. And sometimes it can happen that the courses that you take just to meet your ethnic studies or humanities credit can turn out to be some of your favorite classes. And in addition to all these humanities and arts classes that you can take, UW-Madison also offers courses in over 40 different languages. I know a couple of our panelists here are double majoring in a language, but you can also take language classes just if you're interested in learning the basics of a language. And when I put together this slide, I looked up all of these different courses on our guide. So even now, after going through college, there's a bunch of different courses that I had never even heard of. One of my roommates took a course in meditation where she was able to go and do yoga twice a week for an hour. So a lot of the classes that you aren't going into college expecting to take can be some of your favorites.
Okay, thank you, Tatum, for the great introduction of those elective courses. I also want to add on like one special course I've heard of. It's called Curriculum 277. It's actually a video game designing course. Many of my friends are taking it because they're gamers, so like they can just like the professors will give classes on I think a website called Twitch or something like that. They will just like live stream what they're playing, and the students just participate and share about their gaming experience. So it's really fun class. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to our Q&A session. So feel free to unmute yourself or type any question you have in the chat, and we're more than happy to answer them for you. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing, and then we can see each other's face when we're answering.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Hannah. I'm a CALS ambassador. I didn't get to speak during the PowerPoint because I had class, but if anybody has any questions, I've used PLA before for bio. I've used GUTS also in different STEM classes, and then I've also gone to the CLC, which is the Chemistry Learning Center, and I've used the Writing Center, and I even used the Writing Center during COVID for some of my classes. So if anyone has any questions, one thing about UW is everybody wants to do well in your classes, and there's just like a bunch of resources and they're all free, so might as well use them while you're here, right? So if anyone has any questions, just either turn your mic on or drop them in the chat. Be happy to answer them.
Okay, I see a question in the chat. So how do we connect with pre-med advisors, or are we only able to connect with these types of pre-professional health advisors after freshman year? I guess that's a pretty good question for Plia, if you want to answer.
Yeah, great question, Sophia. So we do have a center for pre-health advising. So if you're interested in pre-health, pre-vet, pre-med, anything like that, there is advising available for students of all grade levels. So if you are a first year or a freshman, definitely take advantage of their first year Fridays. This is where they have drop-in hours every Friday from 9 to 12. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you can just go drop in just to seek advising and further explore and figure out like what are things that you can do to prepare in your early years of your undergraduate. And then once you are in the phase of applying for med schools or pharmacy schools, anything like that, or looking for test prep material or resources like the MCAT, you can definitely go in and make an appointment with them. So for first years, use their drop-in advising, and then when you are sophomore, junior, senior, you can make an appointment directly with them as well. So definitely a really great resource, and I can put their website in the chat too, so you can look them up.
Okay, thank you, Plia, for the great answer. We got another one in the chat. So do general education classes depend on the major, or does everyone take the same basic classes? So any panelist, facilitator want to answer this one?
I can talk a little bit about this. So in CALS, you'll have certain requirements you have to take. So a lot of intro courses like intro chem or intro bio, and then as you get farther along in your major, you'll take smaller, more concentrated classes. So let's just say you're an animal science major, you'll take a more specific class in animal science, but you might have to take more general classes in the beginning, like chem or bio. And then Zoe has a good question. Are we limited to a certain amount of electives? I would say no. Most students take between 13 to 17 credits a semester. So that might look like 4 classes or 3 classes and then an elective. A lot of CALS majors are set up to graduate in 4 years. So you can work the electives into your schedule and even turn some of those electives into a certificate, which I'm not sure if we talked about that beforehand, but.
Just to piggyback on the general education classes, so we do have like different types of general education requirements. So there's communication, there's ethnic study, there's also quantitative reasoning, which is basically math, and there's also some other ones. So I believe for communication, we need to finish communication A, communication B. There are a lot of courses that can fulfill this. And then for the math classes, most of the students, if you have AP calculus, something like that, you can definitely just like trade in these courses for credits and you don't have to take related courses anymore. I know when I got in, I don't have any AP, but then I took like a placement test for math. So that got me over the, I think a quantitative A, something like that. So I just have to take one more math class to fulfill this requirement because genetics major only require one calculus class. So I just took the calculus one, and then that just gets me over with the quantitative reasoning requirements. And as for communication, I think there's communication A, communication B. I forgot what communication A is, but I know for communication B, many of the Cal students take Bio 152, I believe. Yeah, Bio 152 counts towards the communication Bs because there has a lot of writings. And then also the curriculum 277, the video game class, it also counts towards that. So when you're like enjoying playing games, you're also like writing a lot of some like feedbacks or like doing a little project on video game, and then that'll fulfill your communication B course, communication B requirement. And then I think in your upperclassmen, upper level courses, there are also a lot that can fulfill your communication B course. So you don't have to, take Bio 152 if you don't feel like writing research proposal, writing research papers. You can choose some other fun classes to take that'll also fulfill this requirement. And yeah, okay. So let's see. We got another question. Can you talk a little about certificates? So any panelists want to chime in?
I can start and then anyone else can chime in too. So certificates, we have 65 across the UW-Madison campus. They range anywhere from 15 to 20 credits. So on average, each class is worth about 3 credits. So you'll take around a minimum of like 5 classes for the certificate program. And also depending on the certificate program, you can just set up a advising appointment right away with the certificate advisor to declare. There are some programs where you have to take one of the intro courses before you can declare the certificate too. Hannah, anything else you want to add?
Sure. So I'm doing 2 certificates. One of mine is in global health. And for that one, it's actually just 2 classes and then a field experience. So that would count for the extra credits, which is really nice. And then I'm also doing a leadership certificate. So that's a bunch of like seminars that I have to watch and papers and just more like experiences rather than classes. So there's like academic certificates, like my global health one. And then there's more like, I don't know the word for it. Just like other, it's not necessarily academic, but my roommate's like a STEM major and she's doing an art certificate because she really likes taking art classes. So you can really just find anything that you're interested in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Hannah. I'm also doing global health and leadership and just finished my leadership presentation, a capstone presentation the other day. So it is a really nice certificate. It's not like fulfill you for any credits or any required courses. It is just like based on your extracurricular activities, especially in leadership. It kind of like gets you like reimbursement for that. You'll get like a certificate, and at the end you'll get like I don't know, is there like a tassel or something like that as like a recognition of your involvement and your contribution to the campus. So I feel it's a really nice recognition if you want to get for your leadership capability. And also I know that for language classes, I was gonna go for Italian certificate rather than Italian major. At first it was 19 credits, but then for major it was only 2 more classes. So I think 6 or 5 more credits. And then because I did a study abroad, in my sophomore year, that just counts towards those extra credits. So I just bumped myself up from certificate to a major. And you can see that you can do certificate in another college and doesn't actually require a lot of time. And also these classes, because they're more of like humanity, literature side, so they'll actually fulfill your general education requirement, either in literature, humanity, or even ethnic studies, sociology, these kind of stuff. Any other panelists want to add on to this? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to other questions. So how long does it yearly take to complete a certificate, or how many classes do you have to take? Okay, well, I guess I'll just add a little bit on that. So I think you can take all your 4 years to complete a certificate. As for classes, like what Clea said, it does vary between a certificate to certificate, and also varies from department to department. So you just have to check on the guide or schedule an advising appointment with the advisors for that certificate. Yeah, and the next question is, what is the typical number of classes that CALS students take during their freshman year? Okay.
I don't know if there's a typical number. I think that to be a full-time student, you have to take between 12 and 18 credits, and I think you need to have special permission to take more than 18. I think that it's definitely going to depend on which classes you're taking in your first semester or your first year. I think I took about 15 credits, but it depends. I was taking like introductory chemistry, but then I was also taking some more humanities classes. So that was a nice way to balance it out. It's definitely not the best idea to come in trying to take 18 credits every semester. It's a good way to burn yourself out. But it really depends on you and the workload that you can handle. I would also say this is a small plug for the Quick Start program, which is a summer program for all first year students on campus you can apply into. And basically one of the requirements for all students in CALS is to take a first year seminar. And that's typically just a 1 credit class that you take your first year. And by doing the Quick Start program, you can take that during the summer. And that's what I did. And it was a good way to not only learn about the school before I got there, but it also allowed me to take different classes during my first semester. And Plia put the link in the chat for that. So I'd encourage you to check that out. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think that there's a typical number of classes. It's just something you have to see, just try to predict what you can manage and decide that way.
Yeah, I'll just add in general, your first semester, we recommend between 12 and 15. And so 12, again, what Tatum said, 12 is full-time student and max you could take is 18. So because it's your first year and college is very different from high school, we want you to also, take some time to also explore campus, learn a little bit more about campus. Also with that transition from high school to college, everyone like transitions very differently. So we just want to build in that flexibility and for you too. So credit wise, 12 to 15. Number of classes, again, depends on how much, depends on what classes you take, because not every class at UW-Madison is 3 credits, although that's average. But for example, like our biology, introduction biology classes, so bio 151, 152, those are 5 credit courses. And then I think chemistry is 4 credits. And so and then math anywhere between 4 to 5, depending on which math class you take. So yeah, so credit wise, 12 to 15, on average, that is about between 3 to 5 classes. Most commonly, it's 4 classes your first semester.
Okay, I see that we have some other questions about SOAR, about CALS registration, and Plia also answered them. And thank you, Plia, for answering, but would you want to elaborate a little bit more on them?
Yeah, I can elaborate more. So basically, after you have committed or and deposited your $100 to the university, you're officially a UW-Madison student. And after that, then you'll get an email to sign up for SOAR. So when you sign up for SOAR, you will fill in, your basic personal contact information, and then you will pick which day you want to go in and do your placement testing. So placement testing, every UW student will take an English placement test and a math placement test, and then you have the option to take a language placement test. So that's if you've taken a language for like 3 to 4 years, or 2 years in your high school, and you want to continue that, then you can opt in to take the language placement test for whichever language you took in high school. So you'll take that, so you take those placement tests, and then by the time you come to SOAR, then we will have your test scores, and that way we can use that to determine which math course to place you in. And if you took a language, which language class you'll be placed in. And then for English, and if you get a certain score, then you don't have to take a Com A class your first semester. So then taking that placement test and getting that certain score, that means that you will have fulfilled Communication A. And then you'll just need to complete Communication B later on in your college career. Also just want to mention, if you are coming in with any AP, IB, or other transfer courses that you've taken at a different institution while in high school, so if you have any of those credits, then that will override your placement score. So let's say you scored a little low on your math placement, but you got a pass, like a 4 on like AP Calc, and then that counts as like Math 221, I believe. Then that means that we will take your AP Calc credit, and then so then that one will fulfill your math requirement, if that makes sense. Yeah, feel free to let me know if you have any more questions on that, and then I can put that link in the chat too. Let's see, I see there are 2 questions that were sent to me privately. So is placement testing online on your own time this year? I'm actually not sure. Let me look that up. With COVID last summer, students did take the placement test online. But for this year, I am not exactly sure. So let me look that up and see if I can put it in the chat. And then I got another question. Can you take 2 language placements? I've taken Spanish and French, both AP level. That is also a really good question. Okay, thank you, Sophia. Yes, so placement tests are online this year. As far as the language placement tests, I know that there is a time for you to take your language placement, but if you want to take both, I'm not exactly sure. So let me see if I can find that for you.
I know that some of my Italian classmates, they also took these kind of like placement tests so that they can they don't have to take the introductory language classes like 101, 102, these kind of like really basic ones, so they can jump up to like the advanced language class. I guess you probably will see if you want to pursue like a major or a certificate in the language, and then if you do want to do major or certificate for both languages, I guess you can take the placement test. So you can save a lot of time taking those basic language classes and what things you probably already have learned before. And then I think Tatum has a private question. A question sent to her privately. I guess we'll pass it on to Tatum first, and then we'll answer the other question in the general chat.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I got a question about Quick Start, which is the summer program that I was talking about. So just to reiterate, every CALS student needs to take a freshman seminar. And so Quick Start takes care of that credit. It's an online course. Well, actually, it's two parts. The first part is an online course that you take from home over the summer, and it's always been online. And you just go through different modules that teach you about what to expect, about life in Madison, about different classes that you're going to take, and different resources. And so it's a pretty low commitment thing. Imagine like a seminar just spread out over, I think maybe 6 or 8 weeks over the summer. And then the second part, which is optional, is 1 week on campus. You get to move into the dorms for a week early than everyone else, and you get to tour different parts of campus, like Camp Randall. I went on a couple tours of research labs, which were actually really cool, and you get to meet a lot of students who are probably taking similar classes. If you have any other questions about Quick Start, you can ask me or visit the website, but I would really recommend it. I think it was a really good decision that I made.
Yeah, thank you, Tatum. We have another question about AP credits. Are AP credits based on your AP score alone, or also what grade you got in your AP class? I saw Priya also answer that. Would you want to talk a little bit more?
Yeah, so we will look at your exam score because your exam score will tell us what UW-Madison course it is equivalent to. We don't really look at the grade that you get in your AP class, but yeah, so we only look at your exam score. So.
Yeah, thank you, Priya. Does any other panelists got private questions sent to them? Okay, if not, I see we're almost at 6. I'll reshare, we can still like stay a little longer if anyone else have like further questions, but now I'll just share my screen again to share with you some of our upcoming events. So just hang in there. Okay. All right. Lastly, yeah, we do want to share with you about our upcoming events. So we did already have our major panel on Monday, which talks about a different majors such as genetics, nutrition, nutritional science, and then agronomy, environmental science. And even though you wouldn't be able to join us on the panel, we have uploaded our recording on our YouTube channel. So you can just search CALS Ambassadors, UW-Madison on the YouTube to find these kind of recordings if you're interested in them. And also today we had our study, how to study and pick classes panel, and then the recording will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And Friday we'll have our academic opportunities panel at 3 p.m. So there will be introduction about like scholarship, study abroad opportunities, or just different kind of programs offered in CALS. So if you're interested, please go ahead and then register for that session. And then we have our CALS info session on April 27th at 5 p.m. So yeah, and then if you do want more information about our upcoming events or just about CALS Ambassadors, you can either go to our website, the CALS Ambassador website, or you can email us at ambassador@cals.wis.edu, or you can also contact us, CALS Ambassadors, me and also Tatum. So our emails are on here. And also we, CALS Ambassadors, have our social media accounts. So we are on Instagram and Facebook, so be sure to follow us on there to see more information about CALS. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you everyone for being for joining us at the panel. We'll stay a little bit longer just in case anyone else have like further questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Hi, Danielle. Any other questions you have for us? Okay. Tatum, maybe you might know. So Danielle sent me a private message, but how many students attend CALS Move-In Early?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I was in the first year that they started Quick Start, which was actually just a few years ago. I want to say there was maybe around like 100 students, but they've been expanding it every year. So it is like a big group of people from lots of different majors. But I don't know. And things were different last year because they couldn't do the in-person. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would guess. So I know we have around 100 students or so every year for Quick Start. I feel like majority of them do the move-in because it's, you know, you get to move in early before everyone else moves in. So a lot of students do take up on that offer. So.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, any other questions, Danielle? Okay.